Now, in the previous video, we learned how to add a background color in our web development, and also add a background image. As you can see, this image was added as a background. This image was added as a background in our development. So this, in this environment, like we know, is the area where we add anything we want to appear in our website. So as you can see, this picture of my wife is where you can see of my wife and my baby, sorry, is where you can see, or where we added this picture as a background image before it appear at this point. Now, in this lecture, or in this tutorial, we'll be looking at these 7 topics, which are changing text size, text with fixed width font. This topic deals with the typewriting, the character of the typewriter. This will also talk about formatting the text size. We'll also speak about formatting text, that is the face of our fonts. We'll also talk about changing of a font color. We will also talk about combination of attributes. Combination of attributes is a system whereby we try to add 2 different tags to make up or to change our design to a certain type. We'll also talk about changing the default font color in the web, in our web site or in our web page. Now, to dive in this topic, the first one says changing the text size. So to do this, we will also go back to our developing environment, that is in this side. So we can decide to change the size of this our document, the font size of or the text size of this our a document. Meanwhile, I told us that I'll be showing us where you can locate everything we want to work on or want to design, where you can locate it in our word processor, which is Microsoft Word. Like, if you want to change the size of this, maybe changing text size, what you do, you come to our word processor. At this point where you see font, you click on bold. You have changed the size of the original font. You have made it to be bold. You can decide to make it italic. You have italicized the size of your font. You can make it underline. You have underlined this text. So we'll be looking at these 3 things on this topic. We'll be looking at these 3 things. We'll also look at line break. Remember, line break is just what we get when we click tab to go into another line. We'll also be looking at those things. Now, going back to our design environment, we will say let bold this hello world in our document, and also give a line break from the hello world for exclusive summary to jump into another line, just for it to look like this, as you can see it in our browser. Now I will say, let me make this hello world bold. I'll say the tags or the character, the syntax we use at this point is angle brackets. How to get angle bracket? You press on shift and click on the angle bracket B. You close angle bracket, go to the end. Why we are coming here to close this angle bracket is because we want to make only this hello world. bold. If we want all the text to be bold, we come down after this AdSense to put our closing tag. But because we want only this hello world to be bold, we will close our tag at this point, and by Control Save, you go to our browser, you will see that the color is bold. But meanwhile, I want to remove this background image so that our text will be more visible for any person that is watching this video. So to do that, I will remove this code, this background image code. I will remove it or cut it, but I need to save it somewhere so that whenever I want to use it, it will be easy for me to locate. I will save it in another platform. Minimize. So what I have now is a background color which is white. A background color which is white. If you look at it, you will see that hello world has changed from the default size it was to bold. The same thing we got when we selected this text or this topic and click bold. If you look at it, it is bold here. You also get the same thing at this point. You see we use B, angle bracket B, close angle bracket, hello world, then we close the tag by using angle bracket /B, angle bracket, close. If you go to our text, you will see that this text has been bolded. Hello world is now bolded. It's no more in the same structure to other text. If I want to make the whole text in this our browser to be bold, to look like this hello world, what I need to do is just take this closing tag and place it after our document. When we Control Save, you go and refresh you see that all the words are now on a bold. All of them are now on a bold syntax. They are bold sentences. We can also remove this and place it where we want it to be. We want to work with only this hello world. Now, having told you what bolding a text is, we can as well italicize this word, this hello world, by also including italic. That is angle bracket I, close angle bracket I, close angle bracket slash I, and this will now italicize. It is on bold and also italic. When you Control save, go to our browser, you will see that this word here has been italicized. Meanwhile, let me shift this executive summary in another. I am now sizing this our text. I want to see how I will design this text for it to look more friendly for any visitor in this, any visitor that will visit this web platform. Now I want to shift this executive summary and other sentences down for it to be in another line, just like what you can see in this. After this changing text size, you go to another line and see. Now to get the same thing, we will use line, what we call line break, and that line break will come after this text. Line break doesn't have closing, and it doesn't have closing, opening and closing tag. The close of line break comes immediately after the tag. We can say BR. BR is used as a syntax when we want to include line break. And this slash you see here is showing us that this break doesn't need, this BR tag doesn't need a closing tag on it. So what this thing will do is that it will shift. If you look at how these sentences are looking in our text, in our browser, you see all of them are together until it gets to the end of the browser before it will break. But now, from where we put that line break is at this hello world. This line from executive summary will now shift to another line. Let's see what I am saying. When I Control save or save this our design platform and go to our browser, when you click on it, you see what happened. It has gone to another line. That is the work of a line break. If I want to increase the line break, if I want to increase or space this word from hello world, these sentences to hello world, I can also increase the line breaks and make it, I can double it if I want to increase the spaces there. There is also another way to do this, but I'm just showing us what line break can do in our design. So if you look at, you see I used three line break tag, and it has shifted these sentences down to a certain level. So going back to our design, we have seen how to convert our word or sentences into italic, how to make it bold. We will also talk about how to underline the word. We said italic, we have discussed about bold, italic, and the line break. We also include underline. To underline this word, we use angle bracket U, close angle bracket. We go to the end and put angle bracket slash U, close angle bracket. This line will now, this hello world will be underlined. If we go here and you see that we have underlined our hello world. So just look at, maybe you might not understand because of this sentence, these different tags that I have here. They are doing the same thing. Only what you should bear in mind is that the code that is closer to the word that you are trying to manipulate, at the closing point, the one that is closer should be the one that will be closer at the closing point. Like you see at this point that angle bracket U, which is on the line, is closer to hello world. If I come here, I come to the closing point, I should close this angle bracket which is on the line first before I close italic. The same thing, I should close italic first before I close bold. If I change this if I change this to this level, if I change it to here, you will see that this code will not work. Our code might not give us, when we save, it might not give us what we are looking for. It is bold, okay, it's italic, but it's, in some cases this might not give us the same thing. Just note that you close, the one that is closer is the one you close first. We can as well remove all these things, remove all this code, and our hello world will no more be bold, neither will it be italic, it will only be underlined. As you can see, it's only underlined, no more italic, neither is it bold. So that is that on changing the text size of our document. I can as well decide to put this on the line at a certain point in our document. I can decide to underline executive summary. Franklin Integrated Venture Limited requires a full website built to support your digital growth strategy. This website will allow you expose your brand to organic audience via search engine. So I can decide to underline all these points, and I will just close my underline at this point, and you will see that word will be underlined. You see, all of them is underlined. I can also decide to make it bold. I can also decide to put executive summary in another line and shift Franklin to another point by using line break. I told us about how to include line break in our document. I told us that it is BR. BR is used in inputting line break in our development. So when you click on it, you will see that the executive summary has shifted from Franklin integration, and these sentences have shifted from executive summary. I can as well make these sentences bold. I can as well make this executive summary bold and make this whole word bold by using a bold tag. Here I can use a bold tag at this point. B is used as a bold tag, and I will close it before the line break. I'll close it before the line break. I'll close it before the line break, and you will see that I also bold this hello world and close it after the underline, and close it after the underline. At this point, you can see that we have made bold two of these hello world and executive summary. They are now different from Franklin, these sentences. I hope you have understood what we mean by changing the size of our text by either bolding it, making it italic, and also underlining the text. We also talk about nesting tag. Sorry, I did not include nesting tag at this, but it's so important because we have just touched it now. Nesting tags. We just touched it now, so I need to include it to what we are doing. Nesting tag. Why I say we just touched it now is when we were inlining all this, when we were inlining bold, underline, and italic, you see that we were nexting all this text together. We will discuss more on this, but I just want to touch it because we did something on it at this point. You see, this bold is nexted by underline, which is also nexted by italic. You see what will happen in this text. Sorry. You see what will happen in this point. That because we did not arrange this text how it's supposed to be. If you look at what happened here, I did not close this italic at this point. I only used I here, and I did not close this italic. I only used angle brackets without putting a slash. I use I and close the angle bracket. Look at what happened in our browser. It italicized all the sentences because we did not close the italic. If I go back and close this italic at this point, you will see that everything will change. You look at it, you see it has come back to how it's supposed to be. It's only this word is italicized. Now you have seen what nested tag can do. We will be going into text with fixed width fonts. What do we mean talking about text with fixed width fonts? What we mean is we want this our text to be in a typewriting text. Ordinarily, the default text should be in a typewriting default text. But because some typewriter or some browsers has a different resolution, they have a different way of presenting their text. Some browsers will not give you the actual typewriting text. So to include this typewriting text, what we use to include it is this. We can make all our sentences in our designing environment to be in typewriting text by using this element, which is TT. TT represents typewriting text, and close it in this point. So we don't need to. What typewriting text do sometimes, it gives us where we're supposed to have line break in our environment. It automatically gives us whatever the typewriter does. What we do in our typewriter, it gives out the read text as we want it to see. The text has changed to a typewriting format, but this is not so perfect in designing environment. Why? Because it is not only the people that have a good eyesight that visit website. If you look at this test now, anything you do in this environment will turn out to be the test will turn out to be this. And if it is not everybody that can read this text because it is somehow tiny. The people that have problem with their eyes cannot read this text. So sometimes we would like to make use of the text size that browsers appreciate and that are default to the browsers. But wherever you want to make typewriting text, you always use the tag is angle brackets TT close bracket, then you close it wherever you want to the typewriting text to end. Next thing we do, we just touched this second topic, which is text with fixed width font. All of them are fixed. The width fonts are fixed. Now we talk about formatting the size of our text. You see, formatting the size of our text. What do we do about formatting the size of our text? This is all about changing the size and the font, changing the font and the face of our font, changing the size and the face of our font. To do this, we use what we know as a font family. In locating font family, that is what you see in Microsoft. What you see here, this is size, this is the font family. All these things you see here is in font family, but the changing of the face, or this changing of the face font and the font size is located at the first layer of this Microsoft Word. Now, to achieve what we are looking at, we have different parameters where we can change the font. We have different parameters which specifies the font face, the font size, and the font color. When we are talking about changing formatting the text size, we are talking about changing the font face, the font size, and the font color. We have discussed something about changing the font size using bold, italic, and underline. In this case now, we are changing the font family, or the font size of the font family. In this case, we use, let me do this thing within this text size, within this text arena. I should remove this underline at this point. Then I should divide this. Let me use this example with this Franklin to engine. So at this point, I would want to change the font family. Remember, for you to achieve this, you will normally use font angle bracket font. This should be in small letter. Angle bracket font is equals to double quotes, and n. You close. You also have a sentence here. Put some sentences here. Put some sentences here. Then you close our fonts. So this is how to change the font size, the font color, or our font size. To change the font size, this n represents numbers. We are changing the font size. The font is equals to the size. This n could be a number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It could be a number from 1 to 7. So applying this to our design environment, we can say, go back to our design environment, and we see from this, we see angle bracket font is equals to, remember we are using equals to double quotes 1. You close. I come down here and close our font. So if we save and go back to our browser, you will see that our font has changed. The font face has changed. but something happened. What happened? Did we, where we are applying our designs or applying our code, I will differentiate it when we start increasing the font size. You will see what we are doing. So at this point, this is where I want to work on at these first sentences. So now I want to increase it to 2. It was in 1. Sorry, this thing was not well placed. It was outside. So I want to increase it to 2. I want to increase it to 2. This font is in 1. I want to increase in the size is 1. I want to increase it to 2 so that you will see what we are doing. I save. We go and refresh. It has increased to 2. I increased it to 3. Save. We go and refresh. We have increased it to 3. Is it changing? No, it's not changing, Abi. It's not changing in your, but all of them has an effect. All of them has effects in this. What? Sorry. 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 Don't worry, I will finish. When I finish, I come. Let me finish. If I finish, I'm coming. Now we can as well change it to 4. So whenever you change your font size, it should your sizes should always have, they should always, sorry, are we? I can also use pixels. I can also use pixels. I can also use pixels. I can also use percent, depending on what you want. So to change the fonts of your, to change the font size of your character or your text, I say is from 1 to, you can change the size from 1 to 7. Remember that this should carry font size. Sorry, I made a silly mistake here. This should carry your font size. The font size should be included for you to know, for the browser to know really what you are, because there are different, we have font, we have the parameters that says font face, font size, and font color. If you don't include the font size, the system or the interpreter will not know exactly what you are trying to achieve. You might not know really what you are trying to achieve. So at this point, you see that this has been the reason why our code were not working. So we can as well change this 4 to 7. When you change it to 7, you see what happened. The code is now taking effect. This is our font size has changed to 7. So 7 is the bigger font size. We want to reduce it to 1. Reduce it to 1, and you see how it looks like. You see how it looks like. And put it to 2 so that it will be, or put it to 3 so that it will be visible. So we have just worked on our font size. Now to change the font face, to change the font face, we can as well in our design environment, let's remove this from here. Look at my cursor where it is. Let me shift this so that you will be seeing what we are doing. From here, I can decide in this place we wrote font size. What we do, we want to change the font face. I can remove this font size and put face. Now if I am using face, I should not be using number again. There are different faces in our font family. If we go to our Microsoft Word, you will see some faces here. These are the font face. We have a font face of Tahom, a font face of Arial, Adobe Niji. We have Adobe Arabic. These are the font faces of our browsers. If you look at, our text. Now, for instance, let's say we want to change the font face of this, changing default font color in our browser. It is in a Calibri body. Now we want to change it to Tahom. You see what is happening? It has changed to Tahom. The same thing is what we want to do at this place. We can decide to change this thing to Arial. We can change it to the text face is equals to Arial. We can change it to text face is equals to, if you want to put it in default, you will change it to Arial Vertical. Arial Vertical can be used as when you want to change it to the font face, font size to, font face to the normal or the default font face. But if we say let's just change it to Arial, we'll just write font face is equals to Arial. Then when we save, we go back to our browser, you see that our font face has changed to Arial. Whichever way you want to change it, whichever face you want to use, just include it at this point. If it is Tahom, you can use Tahom. And it will become the same. Tahoma, not Tahom. It is spelled Tahoma, not Tahom. You can use Tahoma and it becomes the same thing with what you have in the previous in your Microsoft Word. You have changed it to Tahoma, sorry. So that is all about font face. So we can also talk about changing the font color of our text. To change the font color, we just do the same thing as we've been doing. You just do the same thing we did. You change from here. You can say font color is equals to, remember what we did when we were changing the background color. We used the background color. We used a color. I told us how to manipulate or how to get colors, how to work on colors. We can say our font color is equals to quotes, then ash, whatever color we want to use, we can use it, and we save. Then the color will change. You see, just the same place the color has changed to what we change it to. This is how to change the color of our text. I can change it to red by saying F00. Control save. I can change it to red and this will become red. So that is how to change the color of our text. Remember, at this point, remember about when I said something about nexting, combination of attributes or nexting tag. When you talk about combination of attributes, you are also talking about nexting tags. So combination of attributes is just the same thing we did when we talk about nesting tag. It is a way we combine many attributes or many characters or many syntaxes, or we can say many codes in a sentence just to achieve the same goal as when we did it separately. We can combine italic and bold. We can combine the font family or the font parameters, which are size, that font face, and the font color, just to achieve the same thing in our browse. So to do this, we can say, in this case now, where I have font color, I can say here that my character here should be, I can give it to be bold. I can say let it be bold. That is this sentence from Franklin to Engine. I can say let it be bold. I can say let it be bold. Sorry. I can say let it be bold. I can say let it be bold. I can say let it be bold, and also has a font, and also have a font size of I can first of all say let it have a font size of a font size equals to 5. A font size equals to 5. Then I say the color is equals to this. The color is red. I can say the color is red. I can also say, what do we say? Font size, font color, and the font no, let me reduce this thing to maybe, let me reduce it to 4 so that it will not look so big. Reduce it to 4 so it will not look so big. So I've said that our font family, our font color is this, and also our font color is, our font size is this, and also our font color is this. I can also say that the font face, I will say face is equals to, I can say impact, means that it is impacted. I can say area, I can say area vertical, I can say anyhow I want to, I can say tahon, I can use anything I want to use, but it should be in our font, it should be in our font family. So I can say impact, color, font size. Then if I save and go to, you see the font size is impact. This impact means it should be strong. This is what you see, it's impacted and it's in the 5th size, and also the color is red. So that is that for attributes. So all these things are attributed to the font. Size is an attribute to font. You see, color is attributed to font. Size, face is also attributed to font. So all these things are what we call the attributes. It's just the same thing like when we nested some tag in this. You see, we nested, we use, this thing is also bold and it is also nested. So if we look at all these things, we combine it to achieve what we want to achieve. I think this video is going too long, and like I said, I don't want to make the videos long so that you can easily jump to which video you want to watch. So we are through with font, text with fixed width and the font, and we are also through with we have also touched the color. We also combination of attribute. Okay, it remains only the changing of a which we talked about the attributes. So we are almost through with our topic. So we'll finish it by discussing on changing the default font and the default font in a website. So talking about this, we only want to tell us that in a browser, most of our browser normally have their default colors, the default size, the default text, the default link, the default visited link, the default active link. The browser has already inbuilt system, which if you ordinarily did not put this thing in your code, if you did not add or if you did not manipulate anything, or you did not manipulate it, or did not change it in your code, the browser will automatically give you its own default way of displaying documents. Now, to alter those things, to alter those documents, those default way of displaying documents in a browser, that is when we start using this code as we have told you. This code will now alter. If you remove this code, automatically browser has a way it displays its own code. We can say now that if we want to change some colors of if you want to change how this browser displays his own document, we can add everything in this body tag. We can add, we want this browser to display our own characters, to display our own design. Then we add it to this body. We can see the body color. Yes, we have given it to be white. We can see the text of the text color of our document, or in our website text color. If you put it in this body, it means everything in your browser, everything in your design. But if you want to change a section of if you want to change a section of your content or your document, you just pick those area, either with a paragraph, to change it inside a paragraph. But we want to make this thing take effect in the whole body of our website or our document. So we want to put it in this body where you see the color